In this video, I'll be talking about the different barriers we may face when it comes to improving ourselves, improving our health, improving our skincare, any habit that you can think of, whether it's physical or whether it's more psychological, relational. One of the key things we want to focus on when we think about progress is, where am I at right now? If I want to improve my health journey, if I want to improve how I approach business or how I work with money or how I work with people, how do I love the people in my life, we want to know where we stand right now so that we can know the direction in which we need to go. Everything has been training us for the current version of our lives. The current routine that you have, the way that you think, the way that you interact with people, all comes down to the training that you've received. And this training can come from yourself, the little habits that you choose to reinforce, or it can come from the people around you. If you want to change your habits, then you may need to select different training for yourself. If I have to look at my whole day from morning to evening, what are certain things that I do automatically because of my training? We want to take the path of least resistance. There's very little resistance in remaining in bed just 10 more minutes, but there is resistance in getting up, putting on some gym clothes, heading out to do some workouts. There is resistance in waking up just a little bit earlier to pray or to read. The good news is we can be retrained to behave differently. We can be retrained to adopt healthier habits, and we can be retrained to think higher quality thoughts. Throughout this video, if any part that I speak about resonates with you, try to think about it. Have a conversation with yourself and figure out if this is something that you can change or if this is something that you can adopt in order to recondition your current automatic way of living. I believe one of the barriers to breaking free from our automatic cycles or our loops is a lack of information. There is no shame with not knowing, because we all start out not knowing much. We need to learn how to talk, we need to learn how to walk, how to talk to other people, we need to learn how to write. There's nothing to be embarrassed about when you don't know something. When it comes to health and wellness, I recognize that people don't have all the information. Your doctors are not surprised by this. You can ask. I always encourage people to only leave when they feel like they understand, because what's going to happen? They've read your labs to you, they've explained your scan to you, and you just nodded to be polite, but actually you don't really know what's happening, and it's your body. So it's fair to ask questions and to not be afraid of looking quote quote dumb or looking ignorant, because there is a capacity to how much anyone can know. No one in the world knows everything about everything, and we're all still learning. The process of learning can open up your mind to gaps in where you are versus where you want to be. Another thing about this lack of knowledge is that people sometimes lack knowledge about the severity of their current state. If you are not aware of how certain habits are actually impacting you, that can be problematic as well. So the lack of knowledge is not just about, oh, I don't know things about the world. Sometimes it's about, I don't know enough about myself. That's where self-awareness comes in. If you're not aware that your habits are hindering you, it can be a barrier to breaking free from your current training, which is why I think it's really important to have conversation, to speak to other people, to do life with others, and recognize that, oh, what I'm doing is not optimal. I see this so vividly when I think about growing up in Pretoria. So I grew up in Pretoria and I didn't go out a lot outside the house and I also didn't go outside the city a lot, but all that I knew was all that I saw. Obviously we have media, we have, television, but there's a limit to the people that you interact with. There's also a limit to your perception of what normal is. So normal can look like your hometown, but when you leave that environment, you recognize that, oh, there's a different way. And so it is with our health routines. You may think you're living super healthily, and you may think certain symptoms in your body are normal. Is normal. No, are normal. You may think certain symptoms in your body are normal. On this topic of a lack of knowledge, I do understand that sometimes the lack of knowledge actually comes from misinformation. Sometimes the things that we know are actually incorrect. This is unfortunate. The solution to a lack of information is obviously to learn, okay? Open your mind to the possibility of what's out there. Open your heart to understanding new things. Join the 1% weekly challenge, because all the habits in our challenge are science-based and safe and intuitive. So in many cases, you know that the habits that we're following are good for you. But in cases where you don't know, don't be afraid to reach out. If you find yourself in the section where you believe you're stuck in a loop or a cycle because you just don't have the information, I highly recommend for you to assess what areas of your life show a lack of knowledge. Don't be too prideful to do the research, to admit this to yourself that I actually don't know what I'm doing. And invest your time into finding answers. Be safe about how you do research. As you learn about things, please try not to get stuck in the learning phase, but actually find ways to move past that.